Welcome back to another episode of Who Is on Crusader Shorts, the show where we delve into the lore and backstory of your favourite characters from films, video games and books. Today we'll be delving deep into the story of Tarre Vizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi and the origins of the Darksaber. The title of Mandalore is canon in the Star Wars universe, and is assumed by or granted to the leader of the Mandalorian people. Those who assumed the title Mandalore were also aided by the Mandalorian Protectors, an ancient clan of Mandalorians who served their leader. To put a little backstory and perspective to this, an example of one of those who assumed the title of Mandalore was Tarre Vizsla, the sole leader of the Mandalorian Death Watch clan, who took the title after his takeover of Mandalore, the Mandalorian homeworld. As we know in Star Wars Legends, or the expanded universe, the title of Mandalore was granted to the supreme leader of the Mandalorian people. The most notable individuals who held the title in the EU had very fitting names which were based upon the title of Mandalore, followed by an honorary title. Notable leaders within the Mandalorian culture who actually obtained the title include Mandalore the Indomitable, the Ultimate, the Preserver, the Lesser, the Vindicated, the Avenger, the Uniter, the Hammerborn, the Destroyer, and the Binder. As far as we know at this point, with the new Disney-based Star Wars canon and the scrapping of the majority of the expanded universe or legend story arcs, it is assumed that the only individual mentioned or known to have held the mantle of Mandalore is Tarre Vizsla, initially leader of Death Watch. Tarre Vizsla was also part of the Vizsla clan, just like Tarre Vizsla. All we know about Tarre Vizsla at this stage is through the words of Fen Rao, extracted from Rebels. Fen Rao is quoted as saying that the Mandalorians didn't create a type of lightsaber, rather this was one of a kind. Legend tells that it was created over 1,000 years ago by Tarre Vizsla, the first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order. After his passing, they kept the saber in their temple. That was until members of House Vizsla snuck in and liberated it. They used the saber to unite the people and strike down those who would have opposed them. One time they ruled all of Mandalore wielding the Darksaber. In the Clone Wars, before fighting Obi-Wan, Tarre Vizsla says to him, "This lightsaber was stolen from your temple by my ancestors during the fall of the Old Republic. Since then, many Jedi have died upon its blade." It is said that Tarre Vizsla used the blade as a Jedi, and after his passing it was stolen. It is not yet clear whether Tarre Vizsla was killed in combat or passed away. However, from the evidence presented by Tarre Vizsla in the Clone Wars, it's abundantly clear that the Mandalorians of Clan Vizsla stole the blade during the fall of the Old Republic. This indicates that the blade was perhaps stolen near the end of the Jedi and Sith War. The blade also was apparently created over 1,000 years ago. With the new lore and canon, we know Darth Bane is now certainly part of the canon thanks to Clone Wars. However, is the Rule of Two still credited to Bane? We can only assume so. Since Bane originally created the Rule of Two, a Sith rule which only two enacting Sith can be present at one time, we can understand that this rule was created 1,000 years ago in the universe. This means the blade was stolen perhaps around the time of the development of the Rule of Two, credited to Bane. This opens up plenty of questions. Does this mean that the Old Republic was brought to its knees by a mere two Sith, or did they have help from the Vizsla clan Mandalorians in the process? If part of the old expanded universe evidence on Bane is also true, this means that after Bane destroyed the Sith, namely the Brotherhood of Darkness, and rebuilt the Sith, this means there would only be a master and an apprentice. So how did the Old Republic fall in the new Star Wars canon? Did Bane and his apprentice have a part in the downfall? Did they receive help from these Mandalorians, who also claimed the Darksaber after the fall of its creator, Tarre Vizsla? Perhaps these ideas of mine are merely speculation, but it would provide more backstory on the Darksaber and a canon-fitting story arc to connect the dots which actually make some sense. Another question that comes to mind is that when Fen Rao tells Kanan Jarrus one time they ruled all of Mandalore wielding this blade, is he referring to Tarre Vizsla's takeover of Mandalore during the Clone Wars, or is he referring to a different era? Tarre Vizsla seizing the title of Mandalore and ruling over Mandalore's people is the only canon individual to have done this thus far. However, Tarre Vizsla also states that his ancestors stole the blade and many Jedi have died under it. This means the Mandalorians have used the blade to kill other Jedi. So does this mean there have been more who have held the mantle of Mandalore before him and wielded the blade? We cannot yet know, only speculate. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you liked the video, there are much more on this channel to watch. If you want to see future videos like this or have any suggestions, feel free to get the discussion started in the comment section below by leaving your feedback. If you enjoyed the content, please help out the channel by subscribing so you don't miss another episode of the show. Thanks for watching.